June 24th, 2015. Disneyland had a huge influence on me as a child, and a common dream was that I would be on a ride like Pirates of the Caribbean or Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and I would get out of the vehicle off the ride and discover rooms that no one else knew about, including the control room. I remember going with my mom and stepfather and with my father and brother during a court ordered visitation. I went on grad night in '78 with my first girlfriend, Deanne. I went with my friends in my 20s, and probably tripping, and the last time being around '89, so it's been around 26 years. I know so much Disneyland lore, having grown up with it. I know where people died. I see they did remove the people mover. Things have changed. This time it was Emily's 8th birthday, so I was trying to make it a really happy time for her, and I think that for the most part I succeeded. We got a park hopper pass so that we could go back and forth between the two at will. I had never seen California Adventure before. It used to be the parking lot. So we arrived the evening before and settled in at our hotel. There was a jacuzzi and a small water playground for Emily. In the morning of her birthday, June 12th, we walked over to Disneyland. We started with the Enchanted Tiki Room. I always went clockwise around the park because some of the Adventureland, New Orleans, Square, Frontierland rides closed at dusk, and Tomorrowland looked cool at night. Anyway, we went on the Jungle Boat cruise, and Emily got to pilot the boat. The ride was essentially the same as ever. They seem to lack this wonderful patter that the old tour guides had, with all these awful puns. It was just one groaner after another. Anyways, we went on the Jungle Boat cruise. Emily got to pilot it, but the ride was it still had that racially problematic Lost Expedition scene with the rhinoceros. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. What was different now was that the elephants in the bath and the hippos were covered with a coating of green slime, like they had just stopped cleaning them. The water itself smelled off, and it was this pea green. We climbed the Tarzan treehouse. It appears the old Swiss Family Robinson treehouse was mostly torn down to install the Indiana Jones ride, which actually went mostly underground. I preferred the old treehouse, but the Indiana Jones ride was so much fun. Emily took us on it both days. Next came Pirates of the Caribbean, which was often the best place to hide from the sun on a hot day. Last time I got on that, 3 huge security guys in costume came out of an unseen door in the wall right there at the loading port at the dock and escorted out 3 kids who had been passing around a joint as their boat returned to the dock. So the ride operator seated us. He's saying, "Please keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times." And he looked around both ways, and then quietly he mimed smoking a joint. He said, leaned in and said, "And no screwing around." My favorite rides at Disneyland were the ones in boats on water, like the Bungle Joke cruise, the Jungle Boat cruise. It's a Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean. They were all nicely cool on hot Southern California summer days. And the Jungle Boat cruise had misters in the jungle that felt great. In Pirates of the Caribbean, right after the talking skull says, "Dead men tell no tales," as you go first past the Blue Bayou restaurant, which is pricey but nice. And "Dead men tell no tales," and you drop down 40 feet and the water splashes everywhere. And you hear voices saying, "He's seen the cursed treasure. He knows too much." And then I think you go through another similar drop, and then you start to see all these skeletons in different poses. One is piloting a wrecked ship's wheel in a storm. The sails are all in tatters with lightning in the background, and one has been run through with a cutlass, and one is in bed reading a map with a magnifying glass, while a harpsichord plays the Pirates of the Caribbean theme. I was only 6 when Pirates first opened And I remember how creepy the skeletons felt, even though I knew they weren't real. They were real. Disney tried to fabricate fake skeletons, but they all looked like crap. So instead, they got actual medical skeletons from UCLA and used them instead. Supposedly, they've laid the other remains to rest, and they have since replaced that with fake skeletons after a series of unexplainable deaths and staff disappearances. Scuttlebutt has it that the skeleton lying in bed is still real. The water smelled off. It's like the Jungle Boat cruise. I recall that the skeletons we were seeing were possibly real human remains, and it lent a darker tone to the ride. It seemed foggier after the second descent, as if to cover that the animatronic figures were poorly maintained. The pirates chasing the wenches in a circle had been removed. The auction was still intact. Shift your cargo, dearie. Show him her broadsides. Oh, we want the redhead. Next was the Haunted Mansion. The ride stopped twice while we were in the Doom Buggy. I see that they mothballed the Mike Fink keel boats. There was a derelict keel boat ashore on Tom Sawyer's Island as if in tribute. Next, we paddled a real canoe around Tom Sawyer's Island. I am surprised that it is still in operation. In this one, they hand each tourist an actual paddle with the ride operator at the helm telling us when to stroke. Last time I did this as a kid, I dragged the paddle in the water during a stroke, drenching the poor son of a bitch ride operator right in front of me. I was mortified. I saw him set the corners of his jaw just like I do when I'm struggling to keep control, and God bless his soul, he didn't say a word. Uh, the burning settler's cabin and his body shot full of Indian arrows, that's been removed. I can't imagine why more canoes are not just run down by the Mark Twain steamboat or by the Columbia. Oh, the water around Tom Sawyer's Island? Yeah, don't get it on you. Same problem. There are only two small preserves maintained for smokers, one across from Tom Sawyer's Island and one somewhere in Tomorrowland. All the cigarette butts are gone from the water, from everywhere. Not once did I get a face full of some jerk's camel. The people in this small smoker space didn't look happy from the Mark Twain steamboat. They, especially the parents with impatient children waiting for them to hurry up. Now, I remember coming to the park while Pirates and Haunted Mansion were still under construction, and I've watched the area past the mansion evolve from an authentic Indian village that you could actually shoot at from Fort Wilderness, from the towers, to become Bear Country Jamboree, and then now it's Splash Mountain, which we skipped. We did go on the new Winnie the Pooh ride, in which Pooh eats honey that's apparently also a strong psychedelic, and there are a lot of hallucinations of heffalumps and woozles. We took the raft over to Tom Sawyer's Island next, and this is where things started to get weird for me. They had remade it with a pirate theme. The old treehouse is all roped off. Everybody had carved their initials in that. I must have at some point. Fort Wilderness is all closed up and shuttered, as is the whole area past that. I think the first time I ever smelled marijuana was as a kid in Injun Joe's cave. I'm following Christine and Emily through one of these caves that I loved so much as a kid, and I got stuck between the back and the chest, between two stones, and I couldn't move. I couldn't inhale. It was pitch dark. I can't see in the dark like I used to, and there's the sense of strangers all around. The air is heavy. I called out to Christine, and she came and took my hand and led me back outside and sat me down on a bench. And then she followed Emily back inside. Now, up to this point, I had been doing okay with my little problem, which is not actually claustrophobia. It is other humans as a crowd. There was one guy whose girl was clearly wasted. She kept stumbling into me in the Indiana Jones ride, and he actually apologized for her. I cut Levers a lot of slack. But elsewhere, especially in lines, some people felt like they had to be pressed right up against me, even single file. I don't know if they were European or what. Generally, if people were getting too close, it only took me speaking a few lines about anything for them to stand back. The voice still works, as does presents. So we took the raft back to shore, and I went and bought that brown fedora in Adventureland I'd been trying on. So I had my little Indiana Jones thing going. I think buying that fedora, like wearing a cape, gave me a little more personal space and respect. Uh, there were two times we separated, and I must say that moving quickly through a crowd alone came right back to me from my old Renaissance Fair days. I do wish I had gotten a pic of the woman in a head to foot black burqa wearing Mickey Mouse ears. Moving to Fantasyland, Peter Pan's flight, was under renovation. But we did Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Pinocchio, Snow White, and I went to the restroom while Christine and Emily went on the circus train ride. This couple of young guys holding hands went in ahead of me. Then they go into a stall together at the end and lock the door, and they're like laughing and falling against the door. And fathers kind of grab their little boys' hands and quickly remove them, and I follow them out. I would like to give this couple the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they were just cleaning their contact lenses, but appearances do matter. I think at this crucial point in LGBT rights history, this kind of shit does not help. I can only imagine the reaction if Christine had taken me into the women's restroom, into the rear stall, and locked the door. So I chill the fuck out, and Emily wants to go on Dumbo. So I wait, eat some more French fries, try to sort out why I'm so bent out of shape. I get my act together, and we decide that I should go on the Matterhorn by myself. As Emily is small, Christine is afraid she might fall out. Christine knew that for me the Matterhorn was the first big attraction. Whoever was first to spot the Matterhorn on the drive down from San Bernardino got to pick what ride we went on first. I like the new bobsleds. The Yeti is cool. However, it seems shorter in duration and altitude. The Skyway gondolas that used to run between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland has been closed, and the space where those gondola cars used to pass through the Matterhorn has been sealed up. The submarine ride, a former favorite, has been ruined. It's now got a Finding Nemo story with projected animation on these screens instead of animatronic figures. Gone are the live mermaids, the goofy sea serpent, the volcanic ruins of Atlantis, the kraken fighting the orca. My viewing porthole was filthy, and since the captain was right next to me, I asked if they had any cleaner, like Windex, and he said no. So fine, I looked through Christine's. We did the Buzz Lightyear ride across the aisle over there at California Adventure. There was an aerial ride. Emily liked both of those. We took the train around the park, through the Grand Canyon Primeval World. We rode the monorail right up front, got the best seats. We staggered back to our hotel room and collapsed. And we got to watch the fireworks from the jacuzzi.